You should never tell a dealership you're paying cash. I'm gonna show you a secret that could save you thousands on your next car. If you don't know, my name's Tommy. I've been in the car business most of my adult life, done sales and finance, and now I negotiate car deals. Enough about me, let's talk about cash. To understand why you shouldn't tell a dealership you should be paying cash, you have to understand how a dealership works. And how dealerships work, their first rule of thumb is they're always out to make a profit. And there's nothing inherently wrong with that. Just like there is nothing inherently wrong with us trying to save as much money as possible. Yes, both sides are colliding with each other, but that's why I say negotiations are like a game of chess. Only one side knows how to play. We're trying to level the playing field so we can save the most amount of money and we can win the negotiations. So let's talk about cash a little bit more, why it's so negative for a dealership. If you ask a salesperson finance versus cash, they're gonna say it doesn't matter. But realistically, they're not looking at it as a dealership perspective. If you ask a sales manager or a finance manager, they're gonna say it makes all the world a difference. And they're the ones that actually control the numbers. And the reason why it makes a difference is the law of averages. When we're working as a dealership, as a manager, we are looking at deals as an average. We're looking as an entire month as a whole. When we look at a cash deal versus a finance deal versus an outside finance deal, the amount of profit we make statistically changes drastically. For example, I was in finance for the majority of my career. And when I took a cash deal, on average, I made about $1,200 for the dealership. It's not bad, but it's not great. Compare that to a finance deal, I made well over $4,000 a car. So you can imagine a dealership was more willing to do something for somebody who's willing to finance versus that somebody who's willing to pay cash. Statistically, there's a cap about the amount of money that I can make. So if a dealership knows and they're about to lose money on a car deal, that you're also paying cash and they have no opportunity for that finance money, they're less likely to give you a good deal. Let me give you an example. I was recently working a Mazda CX-90 deal out in Arizona, and my customer wanted to pay cash for the car. We kind of went back and forth there, and I was working with a few dealerships, and they ended up asking, are you paying cash or financing? And I tell the dealership I'm financing. I always tell them financing because I normally will get a better deal this way, and I'll always ask if it's contingent if I have to finance. If they say yes, then I'll work through that if I need to. Long story short, we're able to negotiate over $6,000 off of this car. This is over 10% off in the vehicle, but they say it's contingent to me financing. I have to finance the car. So I talked to my client, and they also mentioned that I have to keep it for 6 months. So I talked to my client and say, hey, we have to finance the car, but we're gonna pay this off in 1 month. Now the dealership says we have to keep it for 6 months, or sometimes they'll say 3 months. What you need to know with this is there is almost never a prepayment penalty in the United States. You wanna look over your contract to verify, but there should be a segment that says prepayment options. And if there is no penalty, then that means you can pay it off whenever. It doesn't matter what the dealership says, you can absolutely pay that loan off early. So what happened is we told the dealership we financed with them, we got the great discount, and then we paid the car off a month later. So the real question is there a moral dilemma here? Should we be helping dealerships out by keeping the loan for 6 months, or should you just refinance the loan, or should you just pay cash for the vehicle? And when I told my client, I said, guys, it's really simple. Dealerships understand the risk. There is a possibility that we refinance this loan or pay it off. They do all the threats they can to tell them that we can't do it. They understand that risk is there. When the finance manager is talking to the sales manager, they are both on the same page to understanding that there's a possibility of chargeback. They're willing to take the risk for the car deal. We do not have any moral obligations to actually keep this car loan. Again, we get to do what we want. The contract's very clear. They cannot force us to do anything, just like they can't force us to buy the vehicle. If they want to take that risk, they certainly can. And if my client wanted to keep the loan longer, they certainly can. But don't feel bad for refinancing a loan or paying it off. You have to do what's best for you before you do what's best for a company. There's certain things you have to look out for. For example, if you're buying a brand new car with an incentive rate and you finance not getting that incentive rate, you cannot refinance to that incentive rate. So you have to kind of plan that accordingly. This CX-90, this client was willing to pay cash. But if we were going to a CX-5 that was looking at 0%, we really wouldn't want to play this game. We want the financing with the 0%. And us financing with the dealership might not make us as much money. It might not be getting us as good of a deal because the dealership isn't making that much money on the 0%. They're probably getting paid $100 or $200 compared to that 9% deal. They got paid, probably $2,000 to mark up the rate because that's how much markup there was in that deal. The dealership made a significant amount of money and they took a risk. So understand that if there's an incentivized rate, you will not be able to refinance that. So this trick works really well on used cars and vehicles that don't have incentive rates. One question you just always have to ask at the end is, does this deal require me to finance? I always say, hey, at the very end, I always say, hey, I also considered paying cash for this car. Would you guys mind? And plenty of dealerships will say no. But if they say, yes, you have to finance, You have to weigh your options. Does it make more sense to finance the deal, or does it make more sense to pay cash and get a different deal? Sometimes they'll give you a different price. I was recently working a Mercedes, really rare car. Dealership required us to finance the car. We ended up saving like $5,000 off this car by financing. We're going to refinance the car in about a month anyway. But again, the dealership required us to finance the car. It was a very unique situation. There's only like 16 of these in the entire country. So we're willing to take the risk, and we got ourselves a great deal on the vehicle. So understand it's okay to say yes to financing. If it gets you a better deal, just understand how to refinance and then also how to pay it off if need be. And don't ever worry about telling somebody that you have to wait 6 months to do it, because you never do. If you guys like content like this, I want you to like, follow, subscribe. If you guys want to see some of the deals that I'm negotiating for my clients, I want you to go to my Instagram. I post a deal every single day for the month of January on a deal that I got for our clients. I have some exciting deals up in the pipeline that I'm really excited to share with you guys. So if you guys like this content, again, let me know what you want to see in the comment section. Is there a video you want me to do? I respond to almost every comment on my section. So please look at the comments, see what I can do. Like, follow, subscribe. Thank you guys so much, and have a great day.